Love and belonging are essential to the human experience. As I conducted my interviews, I realized that only one thing separated the men and women who felt a deep sense of love and belonging from the people who seemed to be struggling for it. That one thing is the belief in their worthiness. It's as simple and as complicated as this. If we want to fully experience love and belonging, we must believe that we are worthy of love and belonging. When we can let go of what other people think, we gain access to our worthiness, the feeling that we are enough just as we are, and we are worthy of love and belonging. When we spend a lifetime trying to distance ourselves from the parts of our lives that don't fit with who we think we are supposed to be, we hustle for our worthiness by constantly performing, perfecting, pleasing, and proving. The greatest challenge for most of us is believing that we are worthy now, right this minute. Worthiness doesn't have prerequisites. So many of us have knowingly created or unknowingly allowed, been handed down a long list of worthiness prerequisites. I'll be worthy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be worthy if I can get or stay sober. I'll be worthy if everybody thinks I'm a good parent. I'll be worthy if I can hold my marriage together. I'll be worthy when I make partner. I'll be worthy when my parents finally approve. I'll be worthy if he calls and asks me out. I'll be worthy when I can do it all and not even look like I'm trying. Here is what is truly at the heart of wholeheartedness. Worthy now. Not if, not when. We are worthy of love and belonging now, right this minute, as is. And so please join me now. Actually, I'm going to read through our affirmation once, and then I'll invite you to join me. I am worthy of love. I release any sense of shame and lean into my innate goodness. I am as God created me, perfect, whole, and complete. I am worthy of love. Please stand as you're able and join me in declaring this affirmation with confidence and faith that it is already so, because it is. I am worthy of love. I release any sense of shame and lean into my innate goodness. I am as God created me, perfect, whole, and complete. I am worthy of love. While it's true that in this moment I am free, sometimes I need to go back a little bit and figure out why I wasn't feeling free. And so I'm going to tell you a story today of something that happened when I was 7 years old. It was summertime and my mother remarried. It was a very exciting time in my family. We had a new dad. It was kind of crazy. And not only that, we moved from the little town that I had lived in all my life, Hoquiam, Washington, to the suburbs. I had lived in like a 100-year-old house all my life, and suddenly I'm in this house that was like almost brand new. And it was, think Rambler. It was like a Rambler in a neighborhood with no sidewalks. I mean, this was crazy to me. Who builds a neighborhood with no sidewalks? I couldn't even believe this place I was going to live. And it was summertime, and so we had some time to adjust, and I was very excited about going to my new school. I had loved first grade. First grade, kindergarten, awesome. I couldn't wait to get to second grade and see who my teacher was going to be. Ooh, I loved my teachers, I was going to have a new teacher, I had a new dad, I had a new house, I had all this news. I was so excited. So I went to school the first day, and I was sitting in a desk, like something I'd never seen a desk like this before, and I'm looking around and I'm eager and I'm anticipating, I'm excited, And the teacher's calling roll, and I'm looking at each child as they say here, and she calls Marla Brandt. And I was so, there's another person named Marla on the planet. And I'm like, what? I'd never met another Marla before. And nobody responded, and she said, Marla Brandt? And I was like, what? And the whole room, Marla Brandt. And I suddenly had this flash of insight in my brain. Oh my God, I think she's talking about me. Because my stepdad's last name was Brandt. And so I'm still kind of like, the neurons are still firing up here, and I'm still putting it together and trying to figure out if I should say here or not. But I think she must have seen my face. Because she went, is that you? And I was like, I think so, you know? And she said, say here. And I said, here? And some part of me just kind of collapsed inside as she continued down the roll call. And I realized, it took me a while to put it together, that my mom had changed my name. And if she told me, she didn't tell me in a way I could understand it. Does that make sense? She may have told me. But she didn't tell me in a way that I could put it together that people were going to be calling me something different now. Now, I'm sitting there as she's continuing down the rest of the roll, and I'm feeling some things, and I'm thinking some things. I'm thinking, oh my God, the new teacher hates me. I'm thinking, my new classmates really think I'm an idiot. I'm thinking, I hate my new school. I'm thinking, I am an idiot. How could I not know my own name? These are all of the things that I was thinking at the time. And I began to feel embarrassed. And I began to feel ashamed. And I began to feel as though perhaps I really was stupid. And in fact, I came to believe some things about myself and about the world out of that experience. And it's always interesting how we make it about us, isn't it? I didn't come to believe that my teacher had no compassion. I didn't come to believe that maybe my classmates did understand and were feeling sad for me. I didn't come to believe that maybe people just make mistakes and that's okay. I didn't come to believe any of that. I came to believe that I'm stupid, I'm bad, I don't belong, I don't even know my own name. Those are the decisions I made out of that experience. Now, has anybody in this room had an experience where you made those kinds of decisions about yourself? Yeah. Because that's what happens in our lives. Things happen. And as these things happen, we learn, but we don't always learn the real lesson. Make sense? I spent much of the next 25 years of my life trying to belong. Trying to figure out how to be loved. Trying to reconnect with that little girl's sense of worthiness and excitement. My teacher loved me last year. I can't wait to meet my teacher. Trying to reconnect with that inner sense of loving myself, loving life, loving others. Now, Brené Brown tells us that the prerequisite to belonging is that we must believe I am worthy. In fact, she says, if I want to belong, if I want to experience love and acceptance, I must believe I am worthy. And that experience taught me something else. And it's probably not the only experience I ever had that taught me I'm not worthy. It's the first one I really remember. Does that make sense? And it has, I'm 59 years old, you guys. I was 7. This is 52 years ago. And I still think of it and I feel sad for that little girl. it has really stuck with me. But there is a greater spiritual truth. The spiritual truth that we teach here is that God is all there is, right? And when I say God is all there is, I mean infinite presence. Everything we see, touch, taste, hear, smell, feel, everything is of the name and the nature of God. I cannot be separate from God. I must belong because I can't be outside. I cannot not belong. I cannot not be loved. I cannot not be perfect because I am created in the image and likeness of something greater than I am. And I may get these false human ideas, but then the task of my life becomes transcending those, learning what they have to teach me so that I can align more fully with the name and the nature of spirit, that inner energy and essence and truth of who I am. And I cannot explain to you why things seem to be set up this way, but they are. So we may as well go along with it and see what we can learn, right? It does seem kind of a wacky way to set up a planet, but I have faith that the infinite mind, the infinite intelligence, the infinite heart of God knows what it is about. My natural state is perfect, whole, complete. I cannot be separate from the infinite one. I can believe I'm separate, but I cannot be separate. I am worthy of love, of joy, of acceptance right here and right now, simply because I exist, simply because I am. How's everybody doing with this idea? You're good? I love it. So I read some stuff about worthiness and self-acceptance, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody said true worthiness is an authentic, favorable opinion of you. An authentic, favorable opinion of you. Not the narcissistic, favorable opinion of you, which so many of us like to embody, especially when we're trying to look good and fit in. Make sense? But an authentic, favorable opinion from my heart. I know that I am worthy of love. I know that the presence that lives in me is the presence of the divine. And it's simply expressing perfectly, wholly, completely right now. This is the spiritual truth of me. And so I embody this authentic, favorable opinion of me. Ta-da! Excuse me. And give yourself a ta-da. Ta-da! An authentic, favorable opinion of you. It's your nature. Good is your nature. Love is your nature. Truth is your nature. Joy is your nature. Success is your nature. You can only be separated from all of that by your belief. So how did 7-year-old Marla Brandt become 59-year-old Marla Mason? How did I begin to embody a different idea about myself and come into alignment with what I believe to be the spiritual truth? And as I reflect back on these last 52 years, I see some common themes and ways that I began to align with slowly but surely my worthiness and let those experiences where I was taught that I was less than become my teachers. And one of the biggest things that I began to realize is that there came a time in my life when I started to realize how important it was to be kind to me. To be kinder to me than those who had taught me these things, these false beliefs. Being kind to me. Now, are you kind to yourself? Always? Let's do a little assessment. There are actually a number of ways that we are sometimes not kind to ourselves. Let's talk first about how we talk to ourselves. You know, it's always interesting to me. When I hear that somebody's been trash talking me, I get really mad at them. But I trash talk myself all the time. Why do I get mad when I hear somebody's been trash talking me, but I don't get mad at me when I trash talk myself? What? There's something wrong with that logic. Do you trash talk yourself? Oh, I'm so bad. I can never measure up. I can't do that. Nobody loves me. I'm alone. Nothing for me here. You see, what has happened, and what happened in a very subtle way with poor Miss France, my second grade teacher, who, you know, I just bless her. I hope she's still on the planet, or even if she's not, you know, because I bless her because there's such a powerful lesson for me in this experience. What happened when she responded to my confusion the way she did? Number one, she may not have even really realized what was going on for me. But secondly, she transferred her opinion of my behavior to me. Does that make sense? She had an opinion about how I was behaving, and I allowed her, you hear that? I allowed her to transfer that opinion to myself. I was not very kind to myself in that, was I? See, this is what we do when we have difficult experiences with other people that somehow seem to reflect on us. We allow their opinions about what happened or about who we are to become our opinions about what happened or who we are. Have you ever done that? Yeah. But the fact is that, you know, what others think and say of this, and this is not news. I mean, I am not the first person to say this, but it seems like we can't quite hear it. What other people think of us or say of us has nothing to do with us. Nothing. It's their opinion. An opinion. It has no basis in reality. It is not real. It is an opinion. And it's really important to remember that praise is an opinion as well as blame. We have to hear people's praise with the same, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. That we hear their blame, because they are both opinions that don't really mean anything about us. My self-worth does not come from your praise. My self-worth doesn't come from your blame either. It comes from my understanding that I am part of something greater than I am, that I am created in the image and likeness of perfection, wholeness, good, love. And that as I align with that spiritual truth, I actually live from that place and I have a different experience of life. That is the only place my worthiness comes from. Now, here's an interesting exercise for you to think about. As you're considering whether you are really at the effect of praise or blame, ask yourself this question. Whose praise appeals to me the most? Who do I really want to hear praise from? And then ask yourself this question. Whose blame frightens me the most? Could be. Whose blame most puts me on edge? And as you think about those two questions, see who comes to mind. And see what that person might have to teach you about how you talk about yourself, how you talk to yourself. So the first thing is to be kind to me, and particularly in how we speak to and about ourselves. So we are made up of many parts, aren't we? Mind, how we think, is only one of them. We also have a spiritual side, don't we? How do we be kind to our spirit? How do we be kind to that which abides within us and is even greater than we are? Well, one of the things that I think really put me on this path to releasing the old experience and aligning with my own innate worthiness is nurturing the spirit within me, being kind to the spirit within me by giving it time every day. That means the dreaded spiritual practice. Making a commitment to sit with God every day. And if that's a really big idea for you and you're just like, I love it when people say, I don't have time. Like, really? Do you have time to brush your teeth? Do you have time to watch TV? Do you have time? It's like, you have time. We have time to do the things that are a priority for us, right? The things that we make a priority, we have time for. I'm telling you, you are created in the image and likeness of the infinite. You have time for it. Sit every day. And if that's too big for you, try this. Do something by yourself every day that nourishes your soul, that nourishes your spirit. It might be a walk in the woods. Sometimes for some people it's a healthy meal. Meditate, pray, submit a prayer request. Do something by yourself every day that nourishes your soul. And if you do that, as I did that, we begin to recover our innate sense of worthiness because we are aligning with the spiritual truth of us. So do at least one thing every day by yourself that nourishes you. And do one thing every day that makes you feel a sense of pride. Pride. Like you're proud of something that you did. You love yourself for something that you did. Be kind to a small animal. Pick up a piece of trash. Something that makes you feel proud of yourself every day. Nurture your spirit with these two practices. Something alone every day that nourishes your spirit, and something every day, alone or with somebody, that makes you feel a sense of personal satisfaction and pride. Nourish your spirit. As I began to nourish my spirit, I began to heal the old false beliefs. And then, it's kind of a very close thing, but for me, just conceptually, somehow there's a difference between spirit and soul. To me, spirit is like the infinite thing that's greater than I am, but we're all a part of it. And soul is the intimate thing that belongs to me. And part of being kind to me, I learned, had to do with nurturing my soul, my individual soul, that inner essence of me. And one of the most helpful things for me was surrounding myself with positive people in positive places, like this one, and like you. We surround ourselves with people who, number one, support us on our journey, and number two, are working their own journey. And they're doing it in ways, and I know we're not all 100% positive all the time. That's also part of the healing. But that we are looking at life from a place of confidence that God is good and all is well, even when it doesn't necessarily feel like it. So we nurture our souls by surrounding ourselves with other souls who are nurturing their souls. And then we get support. We begin to remember who we are. And in our community of like-minded people, we are practicing. And when we mess up and we forget who we are and we behave badly, they forgive us right away. Because they understand that we're working our conscious spiritual path. And that sometimes we mess up. But I am worthy of your love. I am worthy of your attention and your presence, in spite of the fact that I stumbled. New thought backsliding, I think of it. In spite of the fact that I stumbled, you love me anyway. And you reflect that back to me. And that opinion begins to become my opinion. How are we doing so far? Are you ready to be kind to yourself? your mind, your spirit, and your soul. And the final way that I think really made a difference for me personally in walking from that fear state to a state of greater faith was being kind to my body. You see, I'm doing all this other work, and I have to support it by my physical self. Because this is not for the faint-hearted, as Brené Brown says, right? We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because it's hard work. But it can be easy as we get comfortable with discomfort. As we give ourselves the physical form that can support the deep spiritual work. It's been real interesting for Patty and I the last couple of weeks. We had to move out of our house into a hotel while some work was being done on our house. And so it was supposed to be 5 days in the hotel. It turned into 8 days in the hotel. So what are we doing? We're in this little hotel with 2 cats, Patty and me. And we have a 2,600 square foot house. I mean, we have a lot of space. And suddenly we're in this little hotel. And you know, we're in a hotel. We're eating out. I'm picking up food on the run. Not really sleeping that well, not because it wasn't comfortable, but just because it was different and because I'm starting to not eat well, and that affects how I sleep. And then I'm feeling stressed out, and the cats and the thing and the this and the contractor's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then we can't go home when we're supposed to go home, and the rah, 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 rah. And I completely stopped taking care of my body. And I feel pretty crummy, frankly. You know, we just moved home last Wednesday, and then we don't have any groceries, and we're still kind of trying to pull things together and all. And so I'm still kind of not back into what I know is nurturing feeding of myself. Getting closer. Yesterday was a pretty good day. But you see, then I become unable to support the conscious spiritual journey. Because I'm aching and this, and I don't feel that great, and I'm too tired, and I wake up with a headache because I ate sugar, and you know, all that stuff. We have to nurture our bodies so that our vehicle for the journey can sustain us through the deep work. So we nurture, we care for ourselves, we're kind to ourselves in mind, in spirit, in soul, and in body. Are you ready for that journey? Can you see yourself? Can you begin to imagine yourself releasing any old sense of unworthiness, shame, embarrassed, not good enough, as you begin to pay attention to how you're talking to yourself? As you begin to recognize others' opinions of you have nothing to do with the truth of you. As you begin to take better care of your body, to nurture your spirit with a daily practice, and to nurture your soul by surrounding yourself with people who are on the path with you. Sounds good to me. I'm in. And what's going to happen as we do this? And I'm walking proof. I'm ta-da! Right? I mean, I couldn't have done that even 10 years ago. I would have been ashamed and embarrassed to do the big, what do they call that? The circus bow, ta-da, right? I would have been ashamed and embarrassed to show up that way in front of you because what would they think of me? And, frankly, I don't care. I mean, it would... It would be great if you love me, but my self-esteem is not dependent on it. Right? My self-esteem is my natural state of unconditional positive regard, of an authentic, favorable opinion of me, simply because of who I am. Because I'm on the planet, because I took birth, because I took form, because the universe said yes to the great impulsion known as Marla Brandt Mason. And how perfect is that? And what happened for me is that over the course of a number of years, I didn't even start this journey really in a conscious way until my early 30s. For a number of years, as I worked these things, I began to slowly remember to trust myself again, to be authentic and enthusiastic and joy-filled about life, to practice being who I am, And it wasn't an overnight thing. I mean, I started in my early 30s, and it's not like I woke up on my 35th birthday and, I was there. In fact, you guys have heard me say this before, I'm sure that there's more to the journey for me, otherwise I wouldn't be on the planet anymore. When we're finished, we're finished. Clearly I'm not finished, because I'm here. And clearly you are not finished because you are here. There is something for you to be doing around recognizing your essential oneness and unity with the infinite. So let's be about it together. Let's be about it together. I'm in. Are you in? Yeah. Let us slowly remember together to trust ourselves, to know the truth of ourselves. And so as we close this message, let's turn within and see if we can't seal it in some meaningful way so that we truly do leave this place transformed by the renewing of our minds. And as you close your eyes, I invite you to simply breathe in. And as you breathe in, anchor in the heart, anchor in love. And as you breathe out, simply release anything that would prevent your being fully present right here, right now. To this room full of beautiful souls who are walking the path with you. Those souls, those positive people in this positive place who are doing the work with you in this room is the very essence and presence of God. And we breathe into that awareness. And as you breathe, simply bring to mind an experience or something in your past that perhaps resulted in your feeling unworthy. An experience in your life in which you felt judged, unloved, ashamed, embarrassed. And as you envision that experience, notice how you're feeling. And simply allow yourself to begin to become aware of what you might have come to believe out of this experience of shame or embarrassment, humiliation perhaps. You may have come to believe you're not good enough, you're unworthy, you don't matter, you're alone, you're bad. Just notice that with no judgment, no fear. You just notice what happened and how it affected you. And I invite you now to re-envision that experience. I invite you now to remember the spiritual truth of you. And that even in the midst of that experience, perfection, wholeness, completion, love, joy, peace, the very name and the nature of God is your name and your nature. You just forgot while you momentarily adopted someone else's opinion of you. And just allow that opinion to slide off just like Teflon, just like an egg off of a Teflon plate. That opinion just slides away. And the truth of who you are simply emerges. The living one, making itself known as you. And your heart wells up with an authentic, favorable opinion of you. For you have expanded your heart and opened your mind to the spiritual truth that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is your life now. Simply say yes. And in the yes, allow yourself to know, I am kind to myself. I am kind to others. I allow the presence of the living one to live me. I am aligned with the spiritual truth of my life. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy simply because I am. And so let us know together, as we remember this spiritual truth, as we move slowly and slowly and slowly and more quickly with every breath, the truth of who we are. Let us remember together who we are. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. And so I close this message with a grateful heart, confident, clear. I am love, I am loved, I am joy, I am filled with joy. I give thanks for it and I let it be, and so it is. Amen.